Many of our ancestors lived and died without any record to show they even existed. Like us, they had hopes, they had dreams, and they had names. I'm Henry Louis Gates Jr., host of the PBS series, Finding Your Roots. You're about to hear about a groundbreaking initiative that seeks to identify our 10 million ancestors by their given names.
By 1865, 10 million Africans and African Americans had been enslaved in the United States. Prior to the 1870 census, the men, women, and children whose forced labor helped build this nation were listed as part of their enslavers' household inventory.
We find them on property lists alongside the sheep and the horses and the cattle and the pigs. That's where we find Black people listed as property. So you might have their names, an age, a sex, but what you won't have is their connections to other people.
Harvard history professor Vincent Brown is among a council of Black scholars, Black genealogy groups, and individuals collaborating with American ancestors to launch the historic 10 Million Names Project. American Ancestors is creating an online repository that will contain the documented family history of enslaved Africans and African Americans in the U.S.
I would say that for many, many people living today, it is very difficult to get back to before emancipation, right? So genealogists often refer to the brick wall of 1870. 1870 is the first federal census where we get a ton of names of African Americans in the United States. But there are names before 1870, and as a historian, I come across them all the time, as do my peers. It's just that we never quite imagined there would be one place where all this information could live and interact.
I think people will be very excited about it, and I know that I'm looking forward to the database itself and being able to do research, hopefully for my own family.
Richard Cellini is the founder of 10 Million Names. It's a major expansion of the research that he started in 2015. That's when he hired genealogists to trace more than 300 men, women, and children who were enslaved and sold in 1838 by his alma mater, Georgetown University.
Today, the Society of Jesus, who helped to establish Georgetown University and whose leaders enslaved and mercilessly sold your ancestors, stands before you to say that we have greatly sinned.
And I had a question, but my question had nothing to do with Georgetown. What happened to them? What happened to the people?
To date, Cellini's Georgetown Memory Project has identified 236 enslaved people and more than 10,000 of their direct descendants.
And after we started looking into it, we realized by counting up the number of people who had been enslaved in what is now the United States of America, that it would be 10 million names. And we could take those 10 million names and trace them forward and connect them to the approximately 42 million Black people in the country alive today.
Lynn Nehemiah's life changed when her DNA test kit results led her to online notations about her ancestors' ties to Georgetown.
And so when I discovered this connection to this very rich and deep family history going back, 400 years, it really made me realize just how connected I am to this country and the significance of my family's role in the making of this country.
To raise awareness about 10 million names, American Ancestors partnered with the National Association of Black Journalists and its president, Dorothy Tucker. Tucker knew that her great-great-grandfather, George Trice, purchased 160 acres of land in North Mississippi in the 1880s. She was surprised when American Ancestors Vice President of Research found deeds that showed Trice's land purchase was double.
So these are the two plots of land that he purchases, which is where the family lives today.
This is a 320
acres. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of, you hear, the oral history is passed along, and it's just something that you grow up knowing, but to actually see the map, see the documentation, it really just kind of is so gratifying.
Just as journalism sends you deeper to uncover more facts, journalism sends you deeper in order to gain better perspective. That's exactly what 10 Million Names is doing. It will uncover more fact-based information. It will allow for a deeper and broader perspective and context to be developed. And that's why when they came to me and asked my thoughts, I said, we will have to partner with the National Association of Black Journalists.
Whether you're white or black, if you know that in your closet or in your attic are letters or diaries or account books related to slavery, you should contact American Ancestors, because you have a vital piece of the puzzle. This is going to take the labor of the entire nation many, many decades to achieve. It's not a special project that's being done by a specialized group of people sitting in Boston. This is going to involve everybody.